Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Monday the 3rd of July. So looking at the tables today, pretty uneventful. We've got the yen still showing up as the weakest currency, and we're waiting for another currency to join it. We did have one currency with us this morning. If I just bring in the tables that I screenshotted at 9 AM, it did say pound yen was one to focus on. So we will take a quick look at pound yen, as it could be something of interest in the near future if pound was to return to the S3 side of the tables here. Dollar yen is on here as well, which is something I'm going to talk about, and Kiwi yen obviously topping the day traders. So going to focus a bit more on those yen pairs today. Going to focus a little bit on whether those are something that we can be interested in. Now, dollar yen at the moment is approaching that 145.50. We actually retested the 145 handle, which was something that the Bank of Japan was looking at or rumored to be intervening at. Didn't see any type of volatility of intervention at that point, and we're slowly just kind of making our way up there. Now, the reason why we're probably a little bit flat on the day is because if we head over to our live economic calendar, you can see that it's actually got holidays in Canada and the US. In the Eurozone this morning, we did get some PMI manufacturing as well as pound PMI manufacturing as well, which was a little bit down on the previous. So that's might be the reason why we saw pound kind of move away from the tables, because it came in a little bit lower than forecasts. Later we do have some dollar data, ISM manufacturing PMI, so might be a little bit of volatility around that, but because we don't really have the US in the markets today, it could be a little bit of a slow start to the week. You can see Tuesday as well, US Independence Day. So there is going to be a couple of days here, I think, of low volatility, especially in the US sessions. So we'll see what occurs in the markets, but 145 on dollar yen at the moment. Now we have to ask ourselves the question here, is the market kind of over exaggerated here? Is it exhausted essentially at this point? Now look from a 4-hour point of view, it doesn't seem to be the case, because we're still making higher highs and higher lows. Recently we've had quite a small move back to the upside, so I think it was around about a 50 pip jump recently. So that's still saying that things are strong here. Now, until anything changes here, until we start making lower highs and lower lows, then we start to be coming for an option for a move back to the downside maybe. But at the moment the trend is still very much intact here, so it's still saying that we should be yen short. It's just we're at a resistance point now. We're at a big resistance point. If price trades through it, then it gives us more confidence that the buyers are still in this market in particular, and that the yen sellers are still there. And then it opens up doors to other resistance levels, for instance that 151, maybe the 149 or 148.50s. So there is an argument that we should be just sitting on our hands on the yen at the minute, but the tables are still saying that we should be short, so there could still be some options there for us. Now, like I said earlier, pound yen was one that was featured. So if we have a little look at pound yen, how is pound yen shaping up? Again, if we look at it from a weekly perspective, we had quite a large aggressive candlestick to the upside, followed by two fairly shallow candlesticks. Now, when we see those, it can often be that sort of cresting opportunity, or like the cresting sort of price action, which is suggestive that price may start to move back to the downside. If I just move it over to a line chart as well, 1 second, let me just pause the video there. I'm just gonna bring in the line chart. Let's just do that again as well. You can kind of see it's cresting over slightly there, just showing us that maybe the momentum is starting to slow down a little bit in this market in particular. Now, just kind of seeing, if there was any options for, the pound to continue to the upside, where would that option come from? Now, I did look at the hourly because we still have to respect the fact that we are still technically in an upward trend in here as well. I did look at the hourly and I was looking to see how price would react. So I do have some alerts set down in here. We've got the 50 moving average. We've also got a resistance recently turned into a support. So if price can come back down into that level there, that might be an option to see price return to the highs. What I'd want to do is make sure I scale out some of that position in at these areas here. Now, it is saying we need at least 159 pip stop loss. Now, 159 pip stop loss will bring us around about these lows in here or just slightly above in this area. So if I was just to grab the cursor here, let's say we looked at 183.05 entries there, 160 pips. Yeah, is around about this swing low down through here. So that puts us well out the way, and targets then I've got all the way up at the 188. So if we were looking at it in terms of a risk to reward, let me just go back to that hourly time frame. Let's say 83.05, which is around about in there, and we want that 160 pip at minimum stop loss below that low. Okay, if we look at that, the reward is still a 1 to 3, which is a really decent risk reward ratio. So if pound does jump back onto the tables there, it could be something that we look into for a potential long idea. Now, New Zealand yen is that topping currency pair at the moment from a day trading side of things. That means that the momentum is with that currency pair. And if I just open this out, we've got a break of the 87 spot 50 handle, and it looks like we're trading up to the next level of resistance. Now, I have to go up to a weekly to see the next level of resistance, but it is that 93 spot 50 handle. So, you know, really speaking, it's around 92 spot 50 up to the 93 spot 50. But even so, that's still 350 pips away. So this is also on my radar, looking to see if there's an option to get long in this market. The only problems with this one in particular is we're nowhere near our 50 moving average. Price is consolidated, broken, consolidated, broken. So are we going to get a similar picture here now? Price is at this resistance zone. Are we going to consolidate and break? So I would like to see a retest of the 50. That means I need to see some kind of deeper retracement. Just might not get it with this market, but we shall see. I will be keeping an eye here just to see if we can get a bit of a pullback. We may only pull back into these recent 4-hour highs, which is around the 88 spot 66. So maybe if we saw a pullback into this zone here and the sort of movement of that 50 moving average, then maybe we can get something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on this one. So I'm going to leave it there. Remember, it's going to be a slow couple of days with regards to the US not being in the market. So we'll see how the market does shape up. Still showing yen weakness at the moment. So maybe that is something where we should be focusing our attentions on. Thanks for joining me for this video. I'll speak to you in the next one.